Assalamualaikum. Today our group will present about the importance of good hygiene practice. For this topic, our group members will be presenting. We will start with our first member, Nur Faizatu Mahirah binti Jamadir. Next, Alia Natasha binti Adnan. Third, Nur Izzati binti Syafa'i. Fourth, Sharifah Nur Izzati binti Said Adnan. And last but not least, Muhammad Ikmal bin Fikruddin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I will start our presentation for this topic with introduction. First, as we know, every food business management must carry out its responsibilities in terms of food safety and quality by implementing a GHP quality assurance or compliance system throughout the food production process. Next, this GHP compliance covers the matters related to hygiene practices in the processing of food from businesses, such as restaurants, so that processed food is safe to eat and suitable for human consumption. This GHP focus attention on the need for continuous training and not just focus on hygiene. So, if the food business doesn't implement GHP, it will have a huge impact on the elderly and children, which can cause stress on their health system due to innate diseases. This foodborne disease is caused by harmful microorganisms. Therefore, the disease should be prevented with proper food control and emphasize on good hygiene. There are several objectives in GHP, namely to identify the concept of good hygiene practices. Next, to interpret good hygiene practices from an Islamic perspective and understand the importance of good hygiene practices, as well as to study issues related to good hygiene practices.
So first of all, I would like to elaborate about the concept of good hygiene practices. We will start with the definition of good hygiene practices. According to British Retail Consortium 2011, good hygiene practices (DHP) are procedures and practices that are carried out in accordance with the best practice principles and guidelines. It is commonly referred to as the precondition measures upon which other food safety and quality management systems are created. Other than that, World Health Organization 1984 described GHP as all circumstances and measures that must be followed during the manufacturing, processing, warehousing, transportation, and preparation of products in order to ensure that it is safe, healthy, and fit for human consumption. Next, I would like to list down a few of the implementation of good hygiene practices. So, the World Health Organization has established 8 major divisions in good hygiene practices. First, design of facilities and equipment. In this subsection, location, facilities, and equipment are the 3 most important aspects. The location of the establishment must be away from poisonous, chemical, or odorous industrial sectors, and the region's environment must be clean, also free from the general waste accumulation. For the facilities, like eating area should be separated from production spaces, bathroom, and is not directly connected to handling, packing, or storage facilities. For the equipment, it must be placed in such a way that it is conveniently accessible for maintenance and cleaning purposes. Second one is primary production. In primary production, there are 4 environmental factors that influence the implementation of GHP. Environmental control, which is critical because production of a product should not take a place in areas that contain or are near contaminated substances. Second, hygiene production process require a manufacturer to ensure that the primary product is always free of contamination. Other than that, control the handling, storage, and transport of a product is also a priority to ensure that each product is protected from contamination and also a damage. Cleaning, maintenance, and personal hygiene is required and specified for each staff member who handles the process of a product and the care of the machines used to process the product. Third, establishment maintenance, cleaning and disinfection and pest control. So, general premises and equipment must be kept in proper working order to guarantee that all cleaning and disinfection procedures are carried out in an effective and safe approach. Cleaning and disinfection process should be followed to maintain that all sections of establishment are hygienic. For the pest control, qualified individual or company should be contacted to deal with a pest infestation and perform the necessary remedial actions. Next, the fourth in the divisions of WHO is personal hygiene. Each manufacturer must have its own set of regulation and processes in place to ensure that it is followed consistently. Personnel who are ill or thought to be ill that can be transmitted through the product or food should not be allowed to enter. Employee hygiene in terms of dress and personal appearance like covered clothes should be provided together with glove, protective headgear, mouth guards and other protective equipment. Fifth, training and competence. All personnel should be aware of their responsibilities. So, personnel should be equipped with the knowledge and skills needed to manage products in a safe and sanitary manner. Sixth, transportation. Once the finalized product has been manufactured, it will be transported to its final destination. In this case, the product must be protected to the greatest extent possible. Vehicles must be preserved in good condition so that the products can be stored in a clean environment and not be contaminated by the surrounding. 7. Control of operation. Each product manufactured must be meticulously defined or properly described in terms of its contents, temperature, expiration date, instruction for usage, allowable age, intake limit, and any other relevant information that may be required for internal use by the corporation. 8. Product information and consumer awareness. Every manufactured product must include information that is relevant to the consumer's standard of knowledge. This can ensure that the product is handled, prepared, stored and used in a secure and appropriate manner for both retailers and consumers. That's all from me. I would like to invite the next presenter.
So I would like to continue about good hygienic practices in Islamic perspective. So in Islam, identifying halal is a critical factor, especially when it comes to product and food selection. In fact, it is an obligation for all Muslims to strive fully in obtaining all halal products and food in their daily life. So nowadays, the concept of halal food and products has recently gained widespread attention due to its proven recognition as a primary and one of the alternative benchmarks for ensuring the safety, hygiene and also the quality of food and beverage. So therefore, the product or food that has been produced must follow all halal prescription and can be accepted by both Muslim consumers and non-Muslim consumers. So in this context, hygiene plays an important thing that should be emphasized in the halal of a product. Thus, it also covers in various elements, including physical, clothing, equipment, and also work premises for processing and the production of the food and beverage. So the main purpose of the emphasis on hygiene is to ensure that all food items are safe for customers, clean, and does not bring harmful to human health. So it is clear that halal is highly specialized in terms of food, particularly in the practice of taking care of personal hygiene and the environment around each other in order to prevent any harmful diseases in our daily consumption. Besides, GHP plays an important role in the handling and the production of the food and also considered as a mandatory requirement in every preparation of halal food. So the concept of halal food itself will be not complete without emphasis on aspect of hygiene, nutrition and surrounding, as it plays as a fundamental aspect of diet. Good hygienic practices also is a requirement that has been proven to be effective in ensuring food hygiene and safety is properly maintained. So, in Islamic point of view, a food will be regarded as halal if the material that we utilize is from the halal source and how the material is be conducted and processed until at the end of the product to determine the halal and tayyibat of the food and product as mentioned in Al-Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah verses 168, which means all humanity eat from what is lawful and good on the earth and do not follow Satan's footsteps. He is really your sworn enemy. And besides, the Prophet Muhammad also mentioned in hadith that hygiene is important things that must be considered in every aspect of life, especially for all Muslims, as stated in Hadith Sahih Muslim, which means Allah is pure and He accepts only what is clean. So it is clear that maintaining good hygiene in life is a credential, as it is part of Islamic life that can make it as indispensable foundation of faith in Islam. And from this matter, it can be understood that although the prerequisite that has been set by the authorities does not expressly address the role of Islam in the preparation and handling, but it is clear that the features of halal processing has been developed in terms of food preparation, particularly in the area of hygiene and cleanliness. Thus, in reality, GHP not only focus on manufacturing, but also on personal cleanliness, clothes, equipment, processing, and also the basis of handling and selling the products and food. So, to sell a product, food or beverage, every operator or company must understand the requirements and comply with the specific standard have been set before they can label the product safe. Hence, sanitation and hygiene in terms of clothing and daily food are essential in our life. It is because that Islam places high value on the personal hygiene and cleanliness in order for every Muslim to be able to do worship perfectly, as has been mentioned by Allah in Surah Al-Baqarah verses 222, which means, indeed Allah loves those who are constantly repentant and love those who are purified themselves. So, for the conclusion, GHP is in line with the Islamic way of life in terms of ensuring the safety of the food, which means it is safe and does not cause harm to consumers. Consuming halal is not only compulsory in serving Allah, but also demonstrate that the materials and the ingredients are not hazardous to one's health, as Allah only allow what is healthy for human existence. So when food is prepared and consumed based on Sharia law, it will generate a good human conduct and morality, meaning the practice of moral and maintenance.
Now, I will present about the importance of good hygiene practice, GHP. There are many importance of GHP, especially in the food industry, where hygiene is the most important thing in handling food. The first one is for food safety. Food safety is a procedure to handle food including preparation, packaging and storing with the aim to avoid foodborne sickness like food poisoning, diarrhea and many more. Food safety is also a way to enhance health and offer nourishment through the food that we eat. In Islam, eating good and pure food has been stated in the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 88, meaning, eat from what Allah has provided you as good and lawful, and fear Allah in whom you believe. Based on this verse, it is clear that Islam emphasizes the importance of cleanliness and hygiene including in foods. So, by implementing GHP while handling foods, can ensure that the food are safe for us to consume and can avoid the risk for us from getting disease like food poisoning or any other disease caused by unhygienic food. Next, the importance of GHP is at the workplace. We have to always implementing GHP at our workplace because it is the place that we use the most when we are working. By implementing GHP, the workplace will be clean, hygienic and safe for us to do our work, and it can create a productive workforce among the workers. This is because in a neat and clean condition, our work can be done in an efficient, comfortable and safely. As the slogan safety first that we often saw at workplace, GHP is one of the practice that is important to be implemented to ensure the safety of the workers, as it is not only focusing on cleanliness and hygiene, but also includes proper inspection on facilities and equipment that being used. At the workplace that involve food handling, GHP is a very crucial aspect to be followed, as it specifies the safe ways to prepare, serve, distribute, storing and eat the food. This practice aims to prevent from food contamination and disease transfer to other foods, humans or animals. Third, the importance of GHP is to prepare for HACCP certification. Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points (HACCP) is a risk-based system to prevent biological, chemical and physical contamination of food throughout manufacturing, processing and distribution process.
Rather than inspecting food products from dangers after they have occurred, HACCP approach is aiming to prevent health hazards by identifying potential food safety concerns before they occur. The World Health Organization (WHO) first released the HACCP principles in 1963 after the great results of the first manned space missions by NASA, where the HACCP are developed with the goal of ensuring food safety in the mission. With the implementation of HACCP by the World Health Organization, the goals was shifted to identifying and eliminating any potential hazards in food processing in order to ensure the food safety and quality. So, the GHP is an important practice to be followed because before creating the HACCP certificate, GHP must first be implemented. According to the Department of Standards Malaysia, prerequisite programs (PRP) such as Good Hygiene Practice (GHP) and Good Manufacturing Practice (GMP) must be implemented before HACCP may be implemented. This is because the programs like GHP and GMP includes the safety measures that needs to be followed to ensure the quality and safety of the products before the HACCP can take place.
Next, the related issues regarding to the good hygiene practice GHP. So the first issue is about the unclean and dirty environment as well as equipment. Looking at the aspect of hygiene is an important matter that need to be emphasized. Thus, looking at the issues that arise in issues involving the defective environment, unclean and disgusting equipment, and the use of toxic and harmful element has become commonplace today, especially in the manufacturing and handling sector involving the food manufacturing. In this case, citing several reports on the issue that have arising because it was found that there are reports of inspection conducted on handling area involving a food product, especially to some factories that were found to have violated regulation in terms of hygiene and even failed. Therefore, reported that the inspection carried out also found that the raw material used as well as the food preparation area were very dirty because it was placed on a weird and ridiculous floor. In addition, there are also similar issues and problems where there are reports in the operation that has been carried out on the soy sauce processing plant that does not follow the standard and regulation that have been said, so there is a found the premise are too dirty, so that even the inspection also found that the system drainage is also not maintaining and the building is very dirty and not well maintaining. Next, the second issue is about the employees or staff do not take care of personal hygiene. The aspect of hygiene not only emphasize the aspect of the environment or the clean area, but personal hygiene is an important matter that should be given priority in various aspects or area of life. So that there are many issues raised related to the problem of not maintaining personal hygiene, especially to the employees, including staff who work in the premise or for those who handle food to produce a safe food and also a quality. Based on this, the issues that can be seen here is related to the non-compliance of standard in maintaining aspect of the personal hygiene as resulted in nearly 59 food handlers working in the restaurant and a food outlet were found not to have a food handler training certificate, as well as a total of the 63 people not getting a typhoid injection. In fact, in the same cases, it also resulted in the 4 food handler being compounded for not wearing apron, clean and also the appropriate headgear. While personally, they also do not take care of personal hygiene such as having a long nail, wearing jewelries, washes, pin and other accessories. This is what has worried the party responsible to be handling ethics by following the conditions set by the Ministry of Health. Apart from that, in the problem of maintaining personal hygiene as resulting of the 14th of the notice being issued because the owner of the premise did not get a typhoid injection for employees respectively, while a 9 or more notice that have a food handler in the premise concerned to do not wear a clean clothes when handling a food. Thus, according to the food safety headline, state that it is important for all food handlers to must wear appropriate clean protective clothing, including a head covering, a face mask and glove. Therefore, the emphasis of the Food Hygiene Regulation 2019 is appropriate action so that every operator or worker can maintain a personal hygiene. And the last issue is about the food is unsafe and hazardous to health. The requirement in the production of food and product that want to dominate the halal market need a guideline and that must be followed in the maintaining of food quality and safety. Hence, look at the issue arising regarding to the food poisoning cases. According to the issues mentioned again, a press report related to the food safety issues that have involving a total of the 18 victims who were found to be involving in the food poisoning cases caused by the dish of laksa serving, where the result of the examination found that the product provided contained toxic substances and is harmful to the body. Not only that, this food contamination can occur in many situations, whether during the process of raw material selections, preparation, processing, storage, serving, or delivery. But for these issues, regarding to the detection of the dangerous substances that is a carcinogen found to be involving with the brand of the food product company, which is Hapsing Biscuit, which are said to contain harmful substances such as acrylamide and glycidol, which is a contaminant that can be produced from the food processing activities. But the material can be controlled through the selection of raw material and a more appropriate process. In addition, food contamination also occurs when food is contaminated with a harmful chemical such as soap, bleach, or pesticide. Therefore, good hygienic practice (GHP) must be given attention to preventing all elements that will have a negative impact and harm on the quality and safety of the product, especially involving a food.
Okay, for the conclusion, we conclude that GHP is an appropriate hygiene practice to follow worldwide and covers all the practices regarding the conditions and measure needed to keep them safe. GHP is the basis of any infected hazard control, and for some food premises, they implement this GHP as it can prevent food from being contaminated more effectively. Okay, this topic will give you awareness of the importance of GHP and the safety of the food that will be served, as well as protecting food sources is essential to protect human health. Hence, the implementation of good hygiene practice ensures safe primary production until the end of the process. Next, GHP are all practices and measures related to the conditions that need to be taken to ensure that all levels of the food chain are safe and appropriate. GHP is not only implemented in the food businesses, but it can also be implemented in every job, such as slaughter. Safe and quality food is one of the rights of all consumers to have it and demand it.